Well, I think I'm finally getting this mower here kind of pieced together finally. It's been a challenge. There's been a lot of things wrong with it. It's a nice mower, and it's just little nitpicky things. Most of it's just tune-up related. But the first thing he told me was he wanted it serviced, and there was a bracket needed fixed, and he wanted to change the drive belt. But then when he got over there, he said, this thing's always been really hard to start. It takes a long time to start. So he turned the key on, and I bet he ran the thing for 30 seconds, 40 seconds, shut it off, tried to do it again, trying to, start it. Nothing. And I said, well, let's not burn up the starter. Those are pretty expensive. So I said, do you want me to look at that? And he said, yeah, of course. So first thing I did was I tried to siphon or drain the gas out of it, and it was clogged. So I got the gas to finally flow through it, and the gas had water in it, was stale, stagnant. So I put fresh gas in it, and it started. Well, that's not true. It didn't start. What I did was I had to hook up an external tank to the fuel pump, to make sure the fuel pump was working. Then I got, because the tank was clogged, so then I got fuel to go through the fuel pump finally, and it wouldn't start. So I put some starting fluid in the carburetor, started right up. Well, this thing has this little manifold thing on it, and sometimes they warp. So I was a little concerned that manifold was going to need replaced, or the carburetor or something. But in the end, I found that the throttle linkage wasn't adjusted correctly. So I waited overnight, because it would start, if I would start it throughout the day, it would start every time. But the next morning it wouldn't start. So I waited overnight after I adjusted that, and it started right up. And that was at 4:30 this morning. It was 29 degrees out. So it had every opportunity to not start if it didn't want to. I mean, it took a couple cranks more than I'm used to, but it started. So then I had to replace the belt. And when he said, I want you to replace the belt, I asked, why do you think it needs replaced? He said, well, as I'm going up hills, it's slipping. Well, with a hydrostatic transmission, I'm always concerned that means that the oil needs filled and the filter needs changed. And most of these have an internal filter. So you got to tear it apart. And it is a nightmare. There are pieces everywhere. It's two halves. And you would think that you could just take the top half off, change the filter, put the top half back on. But the problem is you got to get all that Permatex seal off of it. So that's falling down into the sump. And so you got to take all those pieces out to get it out. I don't know. I think next time I do it, I will take a little knife with a vacuum, or a scraper with a vacuum, and I will hold that vacuum right next to the scraper, and I'll just scrape it off very carefully instead of being in a hurry and using a wire wheel. It would save more time doing it that way than having to take all those pieces out, cleaning the whole thing out. So, but fortunately, when I got the belt off, I knew that the belt was the problem. It's quite wore. You can see here. So you can see that's where it was slipping, probably. So he's on this steep hill, a lot steeper than mine, and I think mine's miserable. It was so steep that I didn't think the truck was going to go up the hill to get the mower out of his shed. It was terrible. And it was a gravel drive, and you can see where the tires spun up the whole time me trying to get up. So I'm sure it puts a lot of stress on that belt. And this is a heavy machine, so there's a lot of work being done on that belt. My point is I don't have to change the oil or filter on that transmission. That is huge to me. I mean, just huge. So so far, a lot of success with this. I've ordered a new air filter and all that, oil filter. So we'll get that changed, I guess, on Tuesday or Wednesday. Then we'll get it washed and he'll be able to get it back. It doesn't seem like it has as much power as the Beast. You know, we got that Beast over there, the Craftsman. This is 26 horsepower, and it just seems like it doesn't, it just feels weaker trying to come up this hill. But the Beast, I think, is 22 horsepower, so it's 4 horsepower less. Yep, 22 horsepower. And when you come up with the hill on the Beast, it does not fluctuate RPMs at all. Very consistent, just powers through. There's no change in the muffler sound, but it just feels weaker. I don't know why. I mean, that's a Kohler and this is a Briggs & Stratton, so that may have something to do with it. Or this was just not treated very well. I do need to continue to adjust the valves. That may be somewhat of an issue. So things are really going well. Tomorrow I'm going to work on that tiller, get out of the way. Tuesday I get parts for this and a chainsaw. Chainsaw won't be any big deal. And this is just finishing up the service. So that's not a big deal. And then throughout the week, I guess on Thursday, I start getting parts for these and get that fixed. Got a weed eater over here. I've been trying to clean that carbon out of there. It's been a gooey mess in there. Yeah, Carolyn has had a real struggle trying to get it to start, so I'd clean it a little bit and put some carb cleaner down into the piston area with the through the spark plug hole. Run it real hot. Then we'd wait several hours, and then she'd come out and try to start again. And well, now this morning she came out, one pull, it started. So I figured, okay, I can call the customer. So I'm hoping that she can start it. I mean, it's kind of funny. She says when she brought it over, it's brand new. It's only 3 years old. This shouldn't be having this kind of problem. So today I called her and I said, you know, the issue may be that you're not running at very fast RPMs. With 2-cycle engines, you really got to run them fast. Otherwise, that oil and the gas just gums everything up, and it can get into the muffler, and it just big gooey tarry mess is what it is. So I said, maybe, you know, run it. Oh no, I run it. I mean, she basically said 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I mean, she was telling me how much she runs this thing, and I said, you run it really fast? Yeah. So it went from, you know, it's brand new to it's got more hours than you can imagine on it. That's the stories you get from these customers. So I'm getting more efficient this year. Things are going a lot faster. Changing belts used to be an all-day project, it seemed like, because I didn't have the lift. And I learned this trick on this deck. And as a matter of fact, if you'll go, I'll just interrupt this video right now. If you go click at the end of this at the end of this video, there'll be an up next box, and it'll take you over my other channel, and it will show you me replacing the belts. And I got a new technique that I learned over the winter on how you don't have to take the deck completely off. It is a huge time saver, because trying to get that deck in and out of there is just a nightmare. Whereas in most cases, you just remove one pin and you can do the same work. So like I said, you're getting a lot more efficient at this, taking a lot less time. So there are things, I was telling Carolyn today, there are things I don't like doing on lawnmower repairs. And one of them is changing belts, because you got to crawl around and remove the deck. But today just wasn't that bad at all. I probably was only out here maybe an hour and a half to change that. And I say that, but I was also trying to fill the water in between, because Carolyn was doing laundry. So I stopped, drink some coffee, come back out, work on it some more. And filming always causes me more work or time when I'm trying to do it, because you got to move that camera around and try to find a good angle and stop and look. And you know, what would have been at least a 4-hour job took me at most an hour and a half, even with all the extra stuff. My point is, the lift is a big help. I sure am enjoying myself, and I think the reputation is doing pretty good. I've always been concerned about my reputation, and if I just, you know, I think just washing the machine sometimes gives you a good reputation. You know, they get it back, they don't really think about, oh, it's running better or anything like that. I mean, they sent it to you because it wasn't running, and they give it back to you and it's running. That's what they expected. What they didn't expect was that it was going to be all washed up. So I took that Cub Cadet back the other day, and he says, boy, that sounds better than it's ever sounded before. And I'm thinking, all I did was service it. I didn't really do anything. What makes it sound better? Why do you think it sounds better? So I'm glad he was happy with it. He didn't come out and look at it because his back was hurting. So I was kind of disappointed. I like seeing that surprised look when it's all clean and it looks like a brand new mower. So, well, I don't know what more I can say about this. It's been a busy few days of March, and it just all of a sudden just hit. Just all of a sudden, out of the blue, like there's no reason for some of this stuff to be showing up. It sure, I told Carolyn this the other day, it sure does feel good to be making money again on this. You know, YouTube has been doing so poorly. It's almost not worth doing it anymore. Well, if I didn't have the lawnmower repair business, I probably wouldn't be doing YouTube anymore. That's how bad it's doing. The YouTube channel is doing as bad as it was doing after I'd been doing it for almost 2 years. So you think about this, your channel grows over time, and over 2 years you get to a point where, you know, you're making so much money, and then it grows and grows. Well, now it's back down, and it's not because of the views. Revenue is just down for my niche, my genre of YouTube videos. Nobody's selling these, what do you call them, jackeries anymore. So there's no advertisement that is specific to the off-grid lifestyle. Nobody's advertising that stuff anymore. It's a dead industry. So hopefully we can get this lawnmower repair business YouTube channel up and running. And we're so close to getting to enough watch hours. It's not even funny. I'm just really excited about getting this monetized real soon. But I can tell the trolls are attacking it. It's just a matter of time before they hit it real hard. So what are you going to do? You can't control the trolls. You know, the trolls, I got a troll comment today basically explaining how I'm wrong. They're the only truthful people out there. And it's the people who are they're calling them trolls that don't have the guts to accept honest feedback. Well, it's not honest feedback when you're just being cruel. You know, when you don't even watch the video and you're commenting anyways. You know, you watch 30 seconds of it and all of a sudden you think you know what it's about. That's not honest feedback. So I guess I'll end the video now. So if you click this up next box, it'll take you over to that other channel, and we'll be changing out some belts. And you're going to learn something. Everybody needs to learn how to change out belts. That happens all the time, and it saves you a ton of money. I mean, imagine spending $100 to change out the belt at a mechanic, or you do it yourself for 25. So I hope I can inspire you to do your own thing so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.